Hey, how's it going everybody? It's me, the
name and address withheld.
And today I got a bit of a long video for you guys, relating to Movie Community Cut. For those of you who have no idea what Movie Community Cut is, it is the latest update to Movie DX. It is also the final update to Movie DX, ignoring the fact I just did a couple patches not that long ago. They didn't add new content, they just fixed shit. One big thing about this recent update was the addition of optional add-ons. And that's what this video is going to be focusing on, the optional add-ons. Most of it will actually just be showing the add-ons off, as well as giving any info on them, such as, are they compatible with X add-on? Because I'll spoil it right now, not every add-on is compatible with each other. I'll also be starting this video off with a tutorial on installing the mod. Now, I don't mean the stock files, I mean more so the add-ons. For those who want to skip to a certain point in this long-ass video, there are going to be chapters and timestamps, so you can go ahead and just jump to whatever part you want to. For those who have not played the mod at all, though, I would highly recommend you watch the whole thing. Or, at the very least, the tutorial segment. Throughout this entire video, I will be using the GameCube version of the mod as it's the only one I can record. And in terms of mod installation, Xbox is pretty similar to GameCube. Speaking of which, let's talk about installing the mod. First and foremost, I am assuming you have clicked off the video entirely and took a look at the tutorials that are available on Heavy Iron Modding. You're going to want to follow those, because I'm not telling you how to do the basics. However, I will show you where everything goes. First and foremost, here is everything relating to Movie Community Cut. As I said, we are not talking about the Xbox version today. Instead, we are going straight into the GameCube version. Here you're going to see three folders: Files, Optional Add-ons, and Personalized CC Experience. It should also be noted you should probably have the files from the stock version copied, because you're going to need them here. And just to be safe, I would also make another copy, so that way you have two backups in case you end up messing up. Now, if you want to just play Community Cut with no add-ons at all you have to do is copy this folder here. For you see, everything in this folder labeled as Files is everything you'll need. So you're going to want to simply just copy the folder, come over to here, and paste. This pop-up will show up. This will apply to all mods. What you're going to want to do is simply click Replace the files in this destination. And with that, your stock Movie Community Cut experience is ready to go. Now, I actually have no idea if the actual modding tutorials cover this bit, but there are two options you can go from here. You can either do option A, which is open the sys folder here, and open the game via this little file here. This is actually what makes GameCube games boot, and if you do it through this, you can actually go back into your files here and add add-ons at a later point. You can also do that too if you just rebuild it as a ROM through Dolphin, which, by the way, is the other method I will show how to do in a second. However, doing that is a bit more time-consuming. Also, as a heads up, I would not even consider adding any of the optional add-ons when you're in the middle of playing a save. If you're going to add any of those add-ons, make absolutely sure you start from a new save. Movie really doesn't like it when you add shit in the middle of a playthrough. And let me tell you right now, it's one of the reasons why testing this game is such a nightmare when modding. Now let's talk about rebuilding it as a ROM. Here we have the Dolphin menu. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go into Config, Paths. You're going to want to find wherever you put your copy of the game that you just modded. In my case, I went ahead and put it on the desktop. You're not going to click anything here. Instead, you're going to click Select Folder. You're going to want to make sure this little bugger's on too. This will allow Dolphin to look for the main.dol while also having it be bootable. And if you're wondering where everything else just went, I went ahead and removed my GameCube path, so that way only one thing that looked like this would be here. Now, you'll know if your modded game is here because you'll see that it has a size of 0 gigabytes, or bytes. What you're going to want to do from here is you're going to want to right-click, go into Convert File, and select pretty much anything here, I personally always do ISO and make absolutely sure this little bastard here is not enabled. Having this enabled will actually break certain mods. Then you're going to want to click Convert, find where you want to put your ISO. I'm going to do desktop again. Name your ROM whatever you want, don't mind me. Now you're going to want to find your game again. This folder here is no longer needed. Also, as a heads up, you can boot the game by simply having this here too, but for the sake of the tutorial, we're going to go ahead and remove that. And we're going to go find where our game is. Again, in my case, it is the desktop. And to make things easier for me, since both the files and the ROM is here, I'm going to turn search subfolders off. This will in turn remove any extracted game from your Dolphin list, and you are ready to go. Also, don't worry, the title will still be here, I just have that turned off. Now what about those pesky add-ons? Okay, here's part of the reason why this tutorial is even being made at all. It's not really a secret, Movie Community Cut is kind of the only mod that really does this idea of optional add-ons. And as a result, it can get very confusing. However, need not worry, I am here to save the day, as well as to actually explain how to install my mod. You're going to want to find where you put your stock movie ROM, or where you put your stock ready-to-go Community Cut files. You're going to want to copy just files. You're then going to want to go back to wherever the root folder for Community Cut is, which is here, and go into Personalized CC Experience. Then, copy your files here. Now, you're going to want to go back to add-ons. Now, this little folder system here is divided by levels. The add-ons themselves are within each folder. There are some where there are only one add-on, and you will be greeted with a file just called Files. This will apply to all add-ons. You're going to want to go far enough to where you see this, copy it. I said copy it. Go back to your Personalized CC Experience and paste. As always, go ahead and say replace the file in the destination. Now, as I said earlier, not all of the add-ons are compatible with one another, which will be further discussed in the next portion of this video, actually showing off the add-ons. No Cheese has easily the most amount of add-ons, with the majority of them being a carryover from past updates of DX, which I call Bash Edition. As you know, in DX, and well, now Community Cut, Bash is a move that is unlocked by default. And in the original version of DX, changes were made to show this off, such as adding hover crates everywhere, as well as adding a Bash button in the tower segment. Bash Edition alone has 3 separate variants. One variant being shown here is keeping all of the DX textures, but replacing the crate textures with the default ones. A version with nothing but default textures, and a version of the default textures that have the DX crates. There also exists variants of just normal No Cheese with none of the Bash editions, with all the texture changes I just listed. None of the 7 No Cheese add-ons work with each other. You gotta have either one or the other. The add-ons for I'm Ready Depression are mostly just restorations from the past version of DX, the original crates being shown here. This add-on was made by TLL and applies to all of the Sonic Wave Guitar challenges. The rings here use music notes instead of the little bubbles. Both this and the crates are also available together as one giant add-on, which in turn obviously means you gotta have either one or the other. This add-on was also a restoration from past DX updates, and integration of Mindy's unused intro sequence.
Patrick, if you and SpongeBob can bring me enough Goofy Goober tokens, I can use my mermaid powers to grant the 2 of you new powers.
The power of dressing myself?
Patrick, if you bring me more Goofy Goober tokens, I can grant...
Sandwich Driving 101 only has a single add-on, that being this unique Mindy background here. Sunday Driving also only has one add-on, that being a DX Restoration, and said restoration being the Goofy Goober crates. Also, don't worry about the peanut killing me. Part of this update is he does not kill you, due to the fact you can beat the level in one lap now. Knucklehead is like the other driving levels, with it only having one add-on. Like Sandwich Driving, the add-on here is the background being shown. 3,000 Miles to Shell City is very bare in terms of add-ons, with the only real differences being the sky. The three add-ons are you can have Desert Clouds, the Jellyfish Field Sky, or both. Bubble Blowing Baby Hunt only has two add-ons. You can either have yet another DX Restoration and have the Pit Extra be handled the way the mod used to, and you can have TLL's musical Sonic Wave Rings. I may have forgotten to mention earlier, if I do not specify that certain add-ons do not work with each other, then I can tell you right now they absolutely will work with each other. And since I'm already talking about this level's add-ons, they both work simultaneously. For Rock Slide, we have the unique Mindy background being shown here, and we also have a DX carryover, that being the movie-esque atmosphere. These two add-ons will not work alongside each other individually, so an add-on that simply combines them is also included. For Now That We're Men, we have yet another unique Mindy background, as well as a retextured turret enemy to resemble more like a monster. As for Part 2, we have what I would consider a pretty iconic change from past DX updates, that being the visual combination of Now That We're Men and Shell City Dead Ahead. And we also have the monster turret. None of these add-ons are compatible with each other, so for both parts of the level, I went ahead and made versions that combine the add-ons. For Shell City Dead Ahead, we have yet another unique mini background, and I'm telling you right now, these are not going to get old anytime soon. And we also have the last appearance of TLL's musical Sonic Wave Rings. Neither of these add-ons are compatible with each other, so if you want to use both of them, you have to use the add-on that combines both of them. This is all there is for Googly Eyes and Smelly Knickknacks, another Mindy background. For Welcome to Planktopilis Minions, Mindy background. Alright, I promise that's the last Mindy background, but Planktopilis does have one other change, and it's actually another DX carryover, that being the Turret Bot. For all of the bonus worlds, we have various themes. For the Combat Arena specifically, we have the beta-esque theme being shown off here, DX enemies for the Now That We're Men Combat Arena, and all three DX themes from the past updates. Now, none of these are exactly compatible with each other, but they're not exactly incompatible with each other. Each of the various themes are split amongst the different levels, meaning you can have the beta theme for I'm Ready Depression's Combat Arena, but have the DX theme of Now That We're Men's Combat Arena. This will also apply to the floating block challenges and the SpongeBall challenges. The only one that's just straight up incompatible with the other ones is DX enemies, but there are DX enemy variants of the other themes. For the floating block challenges, we have a DX carryover and various themes. Let's talk about the carryover first. Corrected ice and bubble textures. For an explanation, it was found out that the ice blocks and the bubble blocks for some reason had their textures swapped in the default game. DX at one point swapped them around. However, I went ahead and made it an optional add-on because I know there's people who prefer it the wrong way. As for the various themes, we have level themes for all three floating blocks, and for shits and giggles, a theme that makes it look like the SpongeBall challenges. And no, before you ask, I didn't think about doing the vice versa for the SpongeBall challenges. But that's also because they actually wouldn't really look that different. It would just be a new skybox. Hey, speaking of those things, for the SpongeBall challenges, we have a theme that mimics the beta appearance. It's not one-to-one, but one-to-one just wouldn't have looked good in my opinion. And like the other bonus worlds, I had to give the SpongeBall levels unique visual themes. I actually did these before the floating blocks, which you could probably tell with the amount of effort that went into the SpongeBall ones, and not those. Why don't we talk about the add-on that probably got the most amount of attention from people, the new costumes. First up, we have the Beta Bathtub by Minecraft Freak 73. TLL did some work on this one, to my knowledge. I think mainly optimizing the model, I don't remember at the top of my head. Next up, we have GG01 SpongeBob. The fixed version of the model TLL used was done by Minecraft Freak, so this is technically done by both of them. It also replaces Drunk Bob as seen in I'm Ready Depression. Here we have Vintage Manly Bob by Redbird36, as seen in the one-off scene in the Now That We're Men musical number from the movie. He replaces Trench SpongeBob as seen in Now That We're Men. Here we have Krusty Krab Manager SpongeBob, made by TLL. He replaces SpongeGar, meaning you gotta input a cheat code for this one. Karate Gear SpongeBob. He replaces his Mermaid Man costume, meaning you don't gotta do much work to actually get him. This one was also done by TLL. And here we have a bit of an odd one out made by TLL. This is Chimney Sweeper Bob. He also replaces Mermaid Man SpongeBob. This is because we wanted him and Karate Gear Bob to coexist, but we ran into issues when trying to edit Ripped Pants and Plain SpongeBob. So if you want Chimney Bob, you gotta unfortunately sacrifice Karate Gear Bob. Barnacle Boy Patrick, made by TLL, he replaces Plain Patrick. To go alongside Vintage Manly Bob, Redbird also made Vintage Manly Patrick. Naturally, as a result, he replaces Trench Patrick. A costume being from a modern episode, we have Karate Gear Patrick, made by TLL. He appears in the episode Karate Star, which is technically not a modern episode at this point, and he replaces Patgar. And lastly, taken straight from Creature from the Krusty Krab, ported by TLL, we have Pirate Patrick. He replaces Disco Patrick. And with that, concludes this presentation for Movie Community Cut. I hope you guys loved the mod. Like I said a while back, this mod has absolutely been a passion project of mine. I've wanted to do something like this for a while, and to think it all started as a joke from me and my friend Will. But now I think I can finally say that I did it. I finally made better movie, as some would call it. I still personally prefer default movie, you know, my ego's not that big to prefer my own creation. But regardless, I hope you all love what I made. I hope the tutorial at the start helped install the current update, and I also hope that the presentation for the add-ons kind of helped decide what add-ons you wanted to add. I figured I'd go ahead and include this presentation as like a sort of try before you buy type thing. And with that being said, this is it. DX is done. It is under a different name. I'm done with the mod. I hope you all enjoy.